Richard Miller, every Tuesday, as a regular listener, you know this. During the legislative session, we have an opportunity to spend some time with one of the region's electeds, and no different this morning. We've got a representative from the 15th District, Bruce Chandler, on the phone this morning. Mr. Representative, how are you?
Well, I'm doing pretty well. I think it's about 45 to 50 degrees here, so it's a little different than at home.
I guess it is, but that's from the fires of hell. So there you go. That kind of warms things up as the Constitution of Washington is being thrown onto the fire this morning, and the flames licking higher with the idea of a capital gains income tax. Let's start with that. What's up with that?
I think that there is. The Democrats, I know in the House, they have a lot of new members, and they want to spend somebody's money, but not their own.
Ah, well.
There was, I think, a sense among some legislators that the money that was distributed last year by our new president was there was a big hit with people, and so they wanted to do it again. But they have to figure out, where the money's going to come from.
Does not everyone there anticipate the legal challenge to this, or is everyone confident that the Supreme Court will go along with this crazy idea?
Well, it is kind of fascinating what people call their logic, but I believe that some of them seem to believe that they will win politically either way, and if they are fighting to give people more money and they lose it in the Supreme Court, that they will still that will still be a positive thing for them with their constituents.
How would you like to have to work for those constituents?
Well, I feel like I have the best district in the state, but I can't imagine being anywhere else.
That just boggles my mind. Again, that's the symbolism is the victory, not the accomplishment in those kind of circumstances, and that sounds very much like a liberal construct to me. It's like, well, we took it to the end. Sorry we didn't get it, but look what we did for you. It's like, What? I got nothing more than and besides, Richard Miller, filling in for Lance now, made a really good point before we got to you. We were talking about lifting people out of poverty and how how much money that takes, and if that's even a concept that can happen. Can you lift people out, given all the money that we've thrown at people for different things over the last 50 years? You'd think we'd have dug everybody out by now. So bottom line, the governor's going to sign this thing, and what happens next? It's up to somebody to challenge it in court. Is that what we expect? Have you heard from anybody out there that's thinking about trying to head it off that way?
Now you're talking about the capital gains tax?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, well, it passed the Senate, but it is we have not voted on it in the House yet.
Oh, so you guys didn't get out first on it. All right. So, but tell me you're going to stop it.
Well, we're already working with the Democrat legislators and trying to find reason with them. And I'm on the radio. Yeah. Anyway, I think that we're going to be trying to talk sense into people. We'll see how it goes. So I do believe that the margin, the difference between Republicans and Democrats, we're in the minority, but it's not such a big minority that if 3 or 4 of the Democrats decide to vote along with us, we can change the outcome.
Bruce, what do you say that you're going to try to talk sense to them? is some of that talk, hey, the courts have already settled this issue. Why are you bringing it up again? You know it's not constitutional. Is that some of the sense, or is that not?
Well, that's always the first thing that comes to my mind and to my Republican colleagues' mind is it seems like they've torched that cat before, and it hasn't worked for them. So I don't know why. The only thing I can think of is they don't have any other ideas for how to raise revenue. And we believe if we begin to return to an active economy and reopen the state, that will go do a lot more and be a lot more durable than any other option they've come up with.
What do you suppose the other side has to say about the record revenue? In light of seeking an additional tax in a year when we have record revenue.
That they weren't expecting that, and they don't really care to talk about it very much. So, we haven't really been meeting very often in appropriations. So,
and we're about a week away from a new economic forecast, right? And aren't the expectations that it's going to be even greater still? Yeah.
Yes, and that will be, I think, the motivator to get more engaged in putting a budget together.
Well, one can hope that's what occurs, and let's hope for the good of all of us that the revenue forecast is gangbusters. Unfortunately, I suppose another way to look at that, though, is that sanctions the governor's approach to the state lockdown somehow. We didn't hurt us as much as we would have thought if we're still getting all this revenue coming in. So it provides a bit of cover for Mr. Inslee's sort of go-it-alone approach to running the state, though, doesn't it?
Well, I think it says a lot for the resilience and the determination of our constituents. If, in fact, they're able to, they have faced what seems to me, or in my lifetime, unprecedented challenges and obstacles to just getting on with life and providing for themselves and their families. And I think if it keeps getting positive, as it appears it may, I think that's a great testament to what resilience really is.
Well, I would agree with you, but then they have spinmeisters too, and whether they'll see it play that way or not, or whether it's the deft handling by one Jay Inslee to guide the ship through the state's roughest waters, blah blah blah. Okay. Moving on. What's next for the House? What are you guys? Where are you at in this process? And what's next on the agenda for you folks?
Well, I think that we are right now trying to. We've introduced measures to reopen the state, and we are trying to get a fair hearing on that. And the governor hasn't been too interested in talking with us, but he's said that our plan is a Texas plan. He doesn't seem to like Texas very much. I don't know why. And when in reality, a lot of it was taken from the Democrat governor's proposal in the state of Connecticut, and so I think we have not had a serious bipartisan discussion about it, the individual provisions on it. And so I'm not sure what the prospects are, but I do think that it offers a lot of potential for moving the ball down the field and getting our economy up and going.
You bird dog agriculture pretty well over the years. Anything that the state's working on that's going to make ag's life easier or harder that's in the pipeline?
Well, I think that there are some interesting issues that are coming before the committee. One is Judy Warnick and it has developed a bill and that passed the Senate that would facilitate what I would call kind of like cottage farming. There are a lot of people who want to, and some do, make products out of it. They grow something or they raise livestock, and they want to be able to have that inspected so that people have confidence in buying their product direct. And I think that is there seems to be a lot of interest, particularly in the coastal counties and in southwest Washington, where people have small acreages, but they want to see what they can do with that. And I think that's an interesting. It would be a real interesting development, because I think it could help a lot of people, get a little bit better footing in the economy we're in right now. So,
are we talking about like berry farmers and stuff like that want?
Well, some berry. There's some people that have. I heard from a couple that they're raising goats, and they would like to sell goat's milk.
Sure.
And
did I ever tell you the story how goat's milk saved my father's life as a young child? That's a true story. He couldn't tolerate mom's milk, and it was a goat milk that basically pulled him through. So just think, that wouldn't happen, you wouldn't be having this conversation with me. Plenty to think about there, isn't it?
It really is. Yeah.
Richard, do you have anything else before we let the good representative go? Anything else?
Yeah. What with respect to the committees that you serve on, is there an issue that you think is really important that we haven't talked about or isn't making it into the news? I mean, obviously the capital gains tax is one that's out there and controversial, but is there something else that you think is rather important, but it's flying under the radar?
Well, there's one. It's not. It hasn't been to any of my committees yet, but there's a bill in the House. It's 1078, which would allow felons to continue be registered to vote. Mm-hmm. And in fact, they would be registered to vote while they're serving their sentence. And that I thought was a little strange, but it passed. It passed the House before 57-41, which is that was a partisan vote. But I think that we've had enough challenges with our the conduct of our elections and people trying innovative new ways to capture votes. I think we should. I don't think we have anything more important duty as legislators than to defend the due process of our political system for our constituents.
Any concern about this H.R. 1 and what that's going to allow the feds to do to override the will of states? Any pushback there, or are we all on board with President Joe?
I believe that most legislators, I don't think, are convinced that it's going to get to us. That one's is not going to be taken seriously. I don't know yet.
Gotcha. Bruce Chandler, we appreciate your time this morning. Good luck as you guys, quote, try to talk some sense into the other side before we all are on the steps of the Supreme Court over Washington giving up what is a huge advantage in not having an income tax for business. People who make decent money doing what they do to generate capital gains. So good luck with all of that, and continue to fight on for Washington State.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time to visit, and it's always good to hear from folks from home.